You gotta love this place. There's random stuff going on. So I've just come down from right on the top there that's covered in mist. You can't even see where I came from because it's still clouded in. But yeah, you just descend all down there and you come down near that white house, if you can see it. Is that it? There. And then just to that side of the white house, you cross the road and there's a little viewpoint, which is quite a nice viewpoint. It's not as nice as the ones we saw this morning. But there's a few little concrete plinths there to sit on. There was a few cars parked there. A few people kept pulling up and getting out, taking a few pictures, going off. So I walked to the edge, sat on the plinth, kind of furthest away from everyone with the worst view. And just as I'm walking towards it, look over the sort of like ridge to my right, which is where the path goes, and there's just a woman's bare ass greeting me. She decided to take a number 2 just in the middle of the trail. So I was very grateful for seeing that just before I was about to eat lunch. So yeah, I gave it a few minutes and then had my lunch. I'm just finishing my lunch and the whole rest of the viewpoint's free. All the other plinths are free. These 2 Germans rock up like they might as well have sat on top of me. They were that close, and I looked around at them and they're staring at me as though I like killed the firstborn. I swear. And then they're still there, so I'm packing my bag up and getting ready to move out of the way and get cracking on. So the car pulls up with, I'm not going to stereotype, but I'm going to assume 2 more rude Germans. Any Germans that are watching this, I'm sure you're all not rude, but these 4 definitely were. Well, the 2 Germans definitely were. The 2 unconfirmed Germans were probably German and probably rude. But the guy just, he got out of his car after he dumped it in a really crappy parking spot so nobody else could get parked. Just comes up and like, might as well have held my hand. You know, he was that close to me and his wife's sort of like breathing down my neck. It's like, you've got the entire other part of the car park with the better views. Why? Oh, man. It does my head in. Anyway, yeah, rant over. Sorry about that. So I came down that huge, what I'm now going to term the knee breaker, down that huge descent, and I kind of thought that the trail was going to lead me up this thing in front of me, but it's not. When I looked at the elevation chart and the trail, it's actually taking me down, down, down. So I do go down a bit, and then I think I've got a decent climb at some point, probably later on this afternoon. And then I should be, with the exception of a few little lumps and bumps, it should be all downhill towards the end. So compared to La Gomera, where you couldn't take like 10 steps without seeing or smelling a goat, I've just heard, I think, my very first goat bleating. I've heard some bells in different places up in the mountains dingling away, but I've not actually seen any goats yet. There was a chap this morning in, what was it, Cruz de Tejeda. The chap there leading his mule around, but no goats. So, still continuing on this sort of kind of paved trail down the hillside. Had a look at the map, and there is like a decent sized town. Oh, poo! There is like a decent sized town coming up that I'll no doubt hit some point this afternoon. So don't have to worry too much about water and things like that. Still got a bit left. Enough to get there, fingers crossed. Someone's made a little shrine. I did just have a tin of tuna and vegetable salad. It was quite nice actually. It was better than just a plain tin of tuna. I don't know if you recall me saying yesterday that in Artenara there was some very loud cats. There was a lot of stray cats and they were all meowing really loud. I wondered why they were all sort of like making a beeline towards me, and I figured out this morning that the tins of tuna I ate yesterday must have had some juice left in them. I put them in my trash bag. My trash bag has therefore got tuna juice all over it. Every time I've handled my trash bag, I've got tuna juice all over my hands. Hence, I've been attracting cats, basically. That's the long and the short of it. Yeah, so it'd be nice to find somewhere to wash my trash bag and wash my hands. So I am not Tuna Boy anymore. The things you think about are the things you don't think about when you go hiking, eh? Okay, so got to a place called Tunte, Tunte. Went off looking for some water because it's kind of one of the last places to get water. Came down the hill, just down that road there, and kind of got ushered by the server guy into this little restaurant area, which has since been filled up with bikers. It seems to be a really popular biking spot. There's lots of very expensive bikes, very expensive gear kicking around. But yeah, the good news is I've got stuff out to charge, which it needed. I've got a Coke and I've got some spaghetti bolognese on the way. So after this, I just need to find a shop, which on Google it said it closed at 2 p.m. for a siesta, 2 till 5. But I did see there was a petrol station as well, and I don't think they close. So yeah, fingers crossed something will be open to grab some water from somewhere. Hey, well, I made it out of, was it Tunte? What to say about Tunte? There's a couple of restaurants there, cafes. You will get fed there, whether you like it or not. I had a large bowl of spaghetti carbonara, and it was large as well. I was pretty hungry, but it still took me a bit of effort to finish it off. A Coke and a can of Heineken. Went to use the restroom inside, and it was basically like a cupboard you could fit one person in with just a urinal. There was no light, so that wasn't a massively pleasant experience. No lock on the door either. But yeah, you kind of come through to the edge of town. I mean, it's pointless showing you anything, it's all shrouded again now. But you come through to the edge of town, come past a couple of kind of plantations or farms or scrubland, I don't really know how to describe it. And then you slowly work your way up the side of this hillside. You can see some of the rocky outcrops, real jagged and sharp. A little bit Lord of the Rings maybe, possibly. Yeah. Gotta admit, I think this is, I know I've just climbed quite a decent chunk out of town, quite a sweat on actually. Just a little worried about if I'm going to find somewhere decent to put the tent tonight. I had a look at the map, and after this climb I'm doing now, which I think I'm coming to the end of, it's all pretty much downhill. Apart from one little bit that'll be tomorrow. But with it all being downhill, it obviously means there's going to be slopes like this on your left hand side where you ain't going to be getting a tent, and I'd guess something like this on the right hand side where you aren't going to be getting a tent either. So we shall see what happens. I did just pass some lemon trees. Oh man, as usual they were behind a fence, and there was a very large dog looking after him. I've not seen one that big for a while. He wasn't barking or anything, but it looked like if you went anywhere near he would quite happily tear a limb off you. His little friend was there, just sort of like backing him up as well. But oh, look at this. What is that? Is that some sort of fountain? A fountain? Well, it looks like it has been a water trough of some description. There was a herd of goats following me up the hill when I first started. I think they were going a different direction. Anyway, after that sharp little climb out of town, this part of the trail's not been too bad. Oh, and in town as well, if you've got to come off the trail to get to the restaurants and the shop, there was a couple of little shops. They weren't like a spa or anything like that. It was just kind of a couple of doors that opened onto the street and stuff stacked up. But I got some water anyway. That's the main thing I was worried about. I've still got enough food to last me to the end of the trail now, so I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, you do have to come off the trail to go and seek out water and food in that town. And just to forewarn you, it's a hell of a climb back up again. It's a real short, sharp, steep one, so be forewarned. Look at these rock walls. Absolutely fantastic. This cloud is making it all very, very atmospheric. I feel like I'm in a, like I said before, kind of like a Lord of the Rings movie or something. It's really quite nice. Anyway, I'm going to push on. I think if I can get another 4 or 5 kilometres done tonight, I think it's about 3:30 now, it's going to leave me with, I'm only going off memory, I think about 15 or so tomorrow, which will obviously get me to the finish tomorrow. So I need to look into the hotel situation for tomorrow night. That'll be something, that'll be nice, a shower. It's always even if you're only out for kind of 2 or 3 days, it's always the simple things that you start missing, like running water, warm water, being able to wash your hands, shower, and then you do find yourself thinking about food quite a lot as well. Usually with me, it's like, for some reason I don't normally drink a lot of it at home, but I always go for Coca-Cola. And fresh fruit is one thing that you do start to miss as well. So anyway, more people coming, so I'm going. Alright, that was quite funny. I recognised the couple that were walking towards me from earlier on this afternoon. They were one of the German couples I was saying looked very angry. Actually very nice people, so that tells me don't judge by looks. Anyway, they just said when I get to the top of this climb, it's a very, very nice walk for kilometres. So they were going the opposite direction to me earlier, so they must have come round in a big circle, I'm assuming. They must have done. Anyway, no matter. That's all I'm bothered about. They said when you get to the top, it's a very nice walk for kilometres, and then down. So that's music to my ears. Alright. So finished coming up that big climb. Saw a couple more groups of Germans, chatted to all of them. It was really misty this side, as you could see, and this side, yeah, it's still there, but it is clearing, or it's just coming in, one of the two, I don't know. But it's a nice wide gravel track. It is a fair way down, though. I just got a little bit of footage on the phone. There's a couple of people back home that don't like heights, so we always try and worry them a bit with a few sheer drop-offs. So yeah, I did actually make myself just a little bit worried, just looking over the edge. I always think I'm going to drop something or slip, but I can't resist doing it. That's the kind of idiot that I am. But we've got these big big old rock walls on the side of us again. Like I say, I am hoping that at some point, I mean it's half past 3 now, I'm hoping that there's going to be somewhere flat in a couple of hours time. Even if it was an hour and a half's time, I would probably take it. There's no point in walking right up till dark, I don't think. Just check the map. I do still have like 22 kilometres to do, so I mean the worst comes to the worst, I'm just out for an extra night and it's not going to change anything whatsoever. It just means that I won't have to buy a hotel room tomorrow night. So we'll just see. If it's a real easy walk on this road and I get in some decent kilometres tonight, then or this afternoon. It's not even tonight, is it? It's this afternoon. Losing track of time. Yeah, if I get it down to kind of 15-16 kilometres tomorrow, that's going to be a real good situation for me. I'm most happy about the water. The water was the one thing that was worrying me all trail. I just didn't think there was going to be enough places to pick it up, but I've been carrying, maximum I can carry is 3.5 litres. That's half a litre on my front in the little bottle and 2 1.5 litres down either side of my pack. And I think, thinking about it, I could have probably got away, if I'd really scrimped, I could got away with 2.5 litres or 3. As it stands, it's not been too bad carrying the extra weight, to be honest, just for that peace of mind. And I know now that I've got enough to last me till the end of the trail as well, so it's peace of mind really, whatever you're comfortable with. It's getting warm again now as well. That sun's trying to break through this cloud. It looks like a really cool trail. Anyway, get back to it for a bit, probably stop in a little while again just for a breather and maybe have a snack. I've purposely kept all my snacks inside my bag. I usually have a few on the outer pockets, but I found what happens is because they're on the outer pockets, they're too easy to get to, so you just end up not stopping and just eating while you're walking. I do it too often, so I've purposely kept them all on the inside of my pack this time. So if I want a snack, I have to stop, take the pack off and just take a breather for 5 or 10 minutes, and it's been helping. Maybe something I'll start doing in the future. Anyway, back to it. Hola! Well, you can see where I've come from, just in the very distance. The bank of cloud swirling around those rocks in the centre of the picture. Come down from up there, snaking down this hillside. It's been really nice actually. Difficult to describe, but you don't really realise that you're going down a great deal. But looking back at it now, I must have dropped a heck of a way there. I've just had a nice kind of half an hour or so with some music playing. There's been nobody on the trail. It's just barren. It's deserted. There's an old deserted building down there, and I mean, make it out if that's it. Middle of nowhere. That must have been a nice life down there. But yeah, we're just coming down, obviously dropping down some more into these trees, but this is the first view of kind of this part of the island that we've had. Fair enough, it's still shrouded a little misty, a little hazy, but still very nice. Beautiful view. So I'm guessing I'm going to be dropping into these trees somewhere below me and then probably heading towards that body of water and clump of buildings. I'm only guessing there, I could be completely wrong. I have to check on the time, see how I'm doing. I'll maybe stop here for 5 or 10 minutes. It looks nice enough. Wind's picked up a little bit, but it's nothing to worry about. So So yeah, just have a check of where we are and what sort of time we've got left. Hey, so the descent, this afternoon's descent is finished now for me. The last couple of hours at least have just been all downhill, and the ground has just been like really stony and like boulder fields. There's been nowhere at all to put a tent. So I've actually just come off the trail. You can just kind of make it out through the trees somewhere there. Just come off the trail onto this ridge, and it's still quite bouldery. I mean, you can see what I mean. Some of these are man-made, obviously that one's man-made, but these little boulders just all over, strewn around. But there is a spot that someone's used before right there, and it looks absolutely perfect. So I call dibs on that. And then just over the ridge here, you can see I was right before. The trail is heading down to the body of water. Oh, hang on, there might be another campsite right on the edge there. Oh, that needs investigating. But yeah, there's a little village down there and the body of water. So going to have a look at this, see if there's going to be a spot right on the edge for me instead. So I would have carried on. It's somewhere around 5ish, I think. But excuse me, I'm heading into the built-up village area. And I know there's going to be a lack of places to put the tent down there, so this is as good as it's going to get tonight. Still leaves me a decent amount of kilometres to put in for tomorrow. And you know what? I think with a little bit of cleaning, that could be alright. A bit of breeze coming off there, but I don't mind a bit of breeze in the tent. I think that'll do it, you know. I think we'll... Although, I don't know. Can't decide what to do. There is quite a bit of wind coming off there, actually. Nah, I'll stick where I am. I don't know. So I can always wander down there and sit and admire the view later on and in the morning. But this just seemed to be it's a nice pine needle bed as well. It's always nice to camp on a decent soft bed like that as opposed to that scratchy rock. A little bit more protection from the breeze as well, so we'll stick with what we've got up here. That'll do nicely. I can even get the tent put up now and not have to worry about anybody seeing me because I'm quite well hidden in here, so I shall crack on with that.